It's time for your Low Country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Brian Beatty. And for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time to this program during this hour, this is where we talk all things residential real estate here in the Charleston area. I've been doing this for, I think, close to 3 years now. And what I like to do on this program is share my experience as an agent that's been in the top 1% of agents in our market since 2009. I like to share my stories, my experience, and help you become more informed in our real estate market. Whether you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate, you've got the information you need and the market trends that we experience on a day-to-day basis to make sure that if you're thinking about making a move in real estate, you're as prepared as you possibly can be. So a few housekeeping items. If you'd like to reach out to me, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I invite you to give me a call personally. My number is 843-345-1273. Or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. And on that website, you can take a look at everything I have for sale, everything I've sold, search the MLS. Every property for sale in the Tri-County area is available on my website. And if you're thinking about selling your house, click on the Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about what I do to market my properties for sale. And you can also learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee, which essentially states that I will sell your house in 59 days or less, or I'll sell it for half my commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that. Let me tell you a little bit about what I want to talk about over the next hour. I want to open up the program and talk about short sales. I really want to dive deep into that. It's something that I focus on from here and there on this program. It's something that I have a lot of experience in. Back when our market was soft, it's almost all of what I did, short sales and foreclosures. And I want to talk to you about what short sales and foreclosures are like now that our market has changed. So I want to share some insight with you on that. I want to share a few stories, and you might have a few stories yourself. So I'll tell you this. I'm live in the studio. If you have a short sale story that you'd like to share, good, bad, or indifferent, my number here in the studio is 843-556-1250. 843-556-1250. Feel free to call in at any time in this program. If you want to talk about short sales, foreclosures, anything else that's on your mind, happy to offer my insight or just be a sounding board for you. So 843-556-1250 is the number here. So we're going to talk about short sales. It's the end of the month, and I always like to do my market update. So we're going to talk about the Tri-County area, what's going on with inventory, pending contracts, closings, price, all that fun stuff. So that's going to come up at the end of the program, at the end of the hour. And then in the middle, I'm going to do a fairly lengthy educational series, but the question that I want to try and answer by the end of this program is, does the agent that you hire really have the ability to sell your house for more money in less time and with less stress to you? Does the agent that you hire really have an impact on those three areas? I think the answer is yes, but I want to talk about the 7 areas of professionalism that I think are incredibly important, not just in this market, but in any market when you choose to hire a real estate agent, and what that means to you. So that's what we have planned for the program. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to call into the studio, 843-556-1250. So let's talk first about short sales. Short sales don't quite have the buzz that they used to have a few years ago. We just don't have as many short sales out there now as we did 4 or 5 years ago. But it's something that I really kind of built my career off of doing short sales and foreclosures. I got licensed in 2006, and of course, shortly afterward, our market tanked, and I had to very quickly determine what sort of value I was going to be to my clientele. And so I tried to do everything that I could to become an expert in short sales and foreclosures, and it's something that I have done a lot of. I really understand the process, and I'll tell you this, the process really has not changed all that much over the past several years, but the mentality of buyers, sellers, and banks, in my opinion, has changed. So, if you don't know what a short sale is, it's very simple. You're selling your house for less than the amount of your mortgage. So you are shorting the mortgage. You're working with your bank to cooperate with you to release you from your mortgage and hopefully owe nothing in return. You don't have to pay them any cash. You don't have to pay them any monthly payments over an extended period of time. You simply wipe your hands of the property and of the mortgage, and you get to walk away with as few cuts and bruises as possible. That's the goal. And back several years ago, when I was doing mostly short sales and foreclosures, again, I was working with a lot of people that were in very tough situations. If you think about it, several years ago, our economy was not in great shape. We were dealing with unemployment issues. We were dealing with declining prices. And as a result, people that bought at the height of the market and then saw prices start to decline really had no other option than to do a short sale. They couldn't afford their home. Something had happened in their lives, some sort of distress situation. They lost their job. They had medical bills. They had a death in the family. Something happened that prevented them from being able to afford their home. So that was one side of it. The other side of it was the strategic default, which is where people realized, look, I'm in over my head. I can't afford this house, and I don't need this big of a house. I need to do whatever I can to get out of this situation. And so in order to do a short sale, from a seller's perspective, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work on the listing agent side, too. The amount of hours that we have to invest in the short sale process is, I don't know how many times greater than just a regular transaction, but it is significantly more hours invested to help people through that process. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of expertise. And so in order for a seller to do a short sale, they have to provide the bank with all sorts of documentation, tax returns, bank statements, mortgage statements. They need to see their income. Basically, what the bank needs to determine in a short sale is how collectible that seller is. Do they have money in the bank? Do they have a good job? Is there something that the bank can get from you in order to agree to do the short sale? In many situations, people are in a bad spot. They don't have the money to maintain the house. They don't have the money to pay the bills, the taxes, the insurance, basic living expenses, and the mortgage on the property. So they go to the bank, they do a short sale, and hopefully everything works out. What I'm finding right now in our market is that short sales are becoming increasingly difficult. Why? Because buyers aren't willing to wait. See, when the market was soft and there were plenty of short sale opportunities out there, banks were giving buyers good deals on property. The bank did not want to own the house. They did not want to go through the foreclosure process. All reports state that a bank earns more money or saves more money by doing a short sale rather than going through the foreclosure process. So it was within the bank's best interest to cooperate and do a short sale. That's certainly still the case now, but the problem is short sales take time. It is not a short transaction. An average amount of time to get a short sale approved is about 3 to 5 months. That's assuming that the bank is responsive. That's assuming that the seller has all of their documentation together. That's assuming that the buyer is willing to stick through the process from beginning to end. See, the biggest problem I think that we have with short sales, especially in this market right now, is that banks are not giving buyers a good enough deal on a short sale to make it worth the wait. If I'm a buyer and I make an offer on a property and I have to wait around for 6 months in order for them to ultimately approve the short sale and then go through all the processes of getting an inspection and getting my financing in line and doing all of those things to ultimately close on the property, I'd say on average you're looking at probably 6 months, maybe 7 months from start to end to actually buy that short sale. I will say the shortest short sale approval that I ever got was 30 days, which was like a miracle. That just doesn't happen. That's really, really fast. Most of my short sale approvals came in 60 to 75 days. The reason I was able to do that was because I knew the process. I had that process down packed. I knew what the banks wanted. I knew what they were looking for. I knew how to present a package in such a way that the bank said, okay, everything looks good. We're going to go and we're going to do our appraisal of the property to make sure that the amount offered by the buyer is in somewhat in line with what the fair market value of the property is. And as long as that checks out, then we're going to approve the short sale and you can buy it. But I don't have as many short sales now, obviously, as I did several years ago. And that's just a function of the market. I think, as of about a month ago when I was looking on the MLS, only 3% of the inventory out there is a short sale. That's an incredibly low number. I think in 2011, close to 30% of our transactions were distressed transactions, short sales and foreclosures. But you know the old adage, when it rains, it pours. The 3 short sales that I have been working on all fell through this month, the month of June. And 2 of the 3 I have been working on for over a year. The one that fell through that kind of hurt the most was one that I have been working on for literally a year and a half. That is a long time. That's a lot of hours to try and get through a short sale. And the problem is we'll get 4 or 5 months down the road, we'll get so close to the finish line, we'll get so close to getting that short sale approval, and then the buyer says, you know what, I'm not going to wait around anymore. I'm going to go find another property I want out of this deal. And it almost stops us dead in the tracks. We have to start the process over again. It just happened again for the 3rd time on this property in Somerville that I'm doing a short sale on. The sellers are just beside themselves. So am I. I mean, we have a deal that's a great deal for the buyer. It actually is a very good price. If I could swoop in there and buy it for that price, I would. I think it's a good deal. But the problem is the buyer is so emotionally invested in the process that they're just not willing to wait anymore. They said, look, we have been inside this house 24 times. We have planned our lives around this short sale going through. And we're at a point now where we're just not sure if it's going to happen. So we're going to go and we're going to look at other properties. And so obviously that's very frustrating for all parties involved, especially for the seller who wants to get out of this property. They don't want to own this home. They can't afford it. They haven't been making payments on it for almost 2 years. There's threat of it getting foreclosed because the buyer takes them through the process and then they back out. So short sales in this market are very challenging, not just because buyers are unwilling to wait or because banks are not giving a really good deal, but because there's not a lot of them out there, number one. But number two, when a buyer sees a house that's in really good shape and it's priced right and they want to buy something and they need to move into something, they're going to do what they can to get out of that short sale and move to that other property. Short sales in this market really are challenging. And the last thing that I'll say about short sales before we move on is that the bank is going to order something called a BPO. It's a broker price opinion. And in that process of doing a short sale, the bank needs to verify that the amount offered by the buyer is somewhat in line with fair market value for the property. Well, in a market where prices are rising, if a buyer's been waiting for 6 months and they made an offer at that point in time that they felt was fair market value, and then the bank comes back 6 months later and says, hey, sorry, you need to raise your offer by 5%, do you think that sits very well with buyers? It certainly wouldn't with me. So short sales are incredibly difficult in this market. And what I will say is that if you're considering engaging in a short sale as a buyer, it's incredibly important that you have the expectations in line to make sure that you can weather that storm. It's not an easy process. You really need to work with somebody that understands it and that can tell you what's going to happen before it happens. And there's a lot more that I could talk about with regard to short sales because they really are tricky transactions. And if you're a seller, wow, you really need somebody that knows what they're doing, because the last thing that you want to have happen is get a few months down the road and then get stopped in your tracks because the agent that you hired doesn't know what they're doing. And then you've got to go through that process again. Of course, the biggest threat is that you get foreclosed on. You don't have the ability to negotiate that lien release, the lien, of course, being the mortgage. So if you have any questions at all about short sales, you've more than welcome to call into the program. I'm sitting here happy to take your call. The number here, 843-556-1250, or reach out to me personally. My cell phone number, 843-345-1273, or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about whether hiring an agent to sell your house can actually earn you more money, sell it in less time and for less stress. Is that possible in the agent that you choose to hire? All that and more as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. WTMA. Now, the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues on Charleston's Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Really appreciate those of you that tune in on a consistent basis and those of you that reach out to me for your real estate questions. and needs, whether you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or if you just have a general knowledge question. I'm here to help. So if you'd like to reach out to me personally, my cell phone number is 843-345-1273. That's 345-1273. Feel free to call me with any questions, comments, concerns, or if you need help with regard to real estate. I'll tell you that you can also visit my website, listingsincharleston.com. And on that website, you can take a look at everything I have for sale, everything I've sold, which we're constantly updating. You can search the MLS. Everything for sale in the Tri-County area is available on that website. You can learn more about me, and then you can also learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee by clicking on the Sell Your Home tab. You can also learn more about what I do to market my properties for sale. So listingsincharleston.com is the website for that. Again, if you were just listening and you still have something that you want to say with regard to short sales, you have a story you want to share, feel free to call into the studio, 843-556-1250. Never too late to have a nice conversation over the air. What I want to do now is kind of switch gears, and I want to talk about the 7 laws of professionalism when it comes to selling or buying property, and what I think is incredibly important with regard to the agent that you choose to hire. The question here is, does the agent that you ultimately hire actually have an impact on your ability to sell your home for more money, in less time, and with the least amount of stress to you? Are there agents out there that are better at it than others? Can they actually earn you more money? So I want to start first with expertise in pricing property. If you're going to hire a real estate agent and they don't know how to properly price a house, you could be leaving money on the table. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns among sellers, not just in this market, but in any market, is, am I getting the most I can possibly get for my house? So when agents price property, they use, for the most part, the same process that agents have used for decades. It's called doing a CMA, a comparative market analysis. The inherent problem, in my opinion, with a CMA is that it only takes into consideration a small sample size of homes in your competitive range. It doesn't consider the reason why those homes may have sold at that specific price. Things like condition, or maybe they were underpriced. Was there a loss of job? Did they have a dated interior? Was it a divorce situation? Did they have poor curb appeal? Were they not staged properly? So on and so forth. All of those factors matter when we analyze comps, comparable properties, to determine the value of your home. So I'm calling this the law of expertise. And the law of expertise very simply states that the best way to increase the value of your home and get top dollar is to make sure that the agent you hire is an expert not just in your neighborhood and in analyzing those specific comps, but in the entire real estate market and the factors that impact the overall sales price of your property. So what are those things? Outside of just pulling up a neighborhood search and saying, hey, here are the 6 properties that sold in your neighborhood. Here's the average price per square foot. Your home is in average condition, so price it at this price per square foot. I mean, it sounds reasonable. And when you're talking to agents and they say, here's how we are going to go about pricing your property, they can be convincing. But I think that when you sit down with a true professional that really understands all of the factors that impact not just your asking price, but how we justify that price, here are some of the additional things that I look at. I look at things like economic indicators. What bearing does the overall local economy have on our housing market? I, of course, look at things like market trends. Are the current market trends more favorable for your specific style, location, and price range of home? I really need to dig deep and look at the trends as it relates to your specific house. I look at things like absorption rates. How quickly are homes selling? How many homes are selling on a monthly basis? That, of course, ties in with inventory. How many homes are there on the market right now? How many of them are distressed? Does that have an impact on your value? Are you in one of those areas where there were a lot of short sales and foreclosures and it had a really big impact on the overall price in the area? There are certain areas of our market that are still recovering from the soft market that we had several years ago. If you're in a lower price point area, I think it's important to look at the rent versus buy trends. Are you convincing people out there that it's more advantageous to buy a home rather than rent a home? Did you even take that into consideration when marketing the property? And then, of course, we look at things like job stability, market employment, things like that. Do you think that Boeing had an impact on our market? Absolutely. So all of those things are taken into consideration when we price a house to make sure that we leave no stone unturned, and so that when we're sitting down and we're talking about the price that we're going to set, we have a really good understanding of why we're pricing the home that way. It takes into account everything, not just the 3 homes down the street that sold. I think that's really important. I hope you do too. So the second law that I like to focus on is the law of differentiation. So what does that mean? That means things like giving you staging advice. Are some agents different than others when it comes to their ability to stage a property? Some agents just don't get it when it comes to staging, or maybe they just don't care. But when I walk into a house and I see things that I can change to increase the overall appeal among buyers, I'm going to make those suggestions, and I think sellers want that. I think sellers want me to come into their house and say, hey, look, I've seen 10,000 houses probably at this point. I know what buyers like and don't like. Here are some things that I think we can do to change things around, have your home be more appealing to the buyers that we're going after. Staging, in my opinion, is very important. And there's plenty of research out there that says that staged homes sell for more money. Something else that I focus on is the quality of life upgrade analysis. If I'm walking into a house that's $500,000 and we're competing against other homes that have nice top-end upgrades, granite or quartz countertops, solid surface countertops, nicer cabinetry, hardwood flooring, this, that, and the other, but your home has carpet throughout and vinyl, and the cabinetry is outdated, and you've got Formica countertops, and you've got dated paint colors, and it just doesn't look up to date. Does that have an impact on pricing? Does it have an impact on the value that buyers are going to place on your home? Absolutely. And we need to have those types of discussions. Something else that I think is important in some homes is getting a pre-inspection. What we're finding in this market right now is that buyers will give you the price that you want on the front end when they first make an offer, and then they're going to try and beat you up over repairs. They're going to say that, hey, we're paying top dollar for this house, and if we're going to pay top dollar, we expect it to be in really, really, really good condition. I get plenty of repair addendums from buyers that submit offers on my listings where they literally take every single thing on the home inspection report and they put it on a repair addendum and they say, hey, here's everything we found on the inspection. Please fix it. Is it reasonable to assume that a seller is going to fix every little thing on an inspection report? No, I don't think so. I think sellers have the ability in this market to say, tell me what's most important to you on that repair addendum, and I will address those items, but I am not here to turn my home into the perfect new construction home for you. I don't think I have to because of the demand that we have out there. And then the last thing that I think is important with regard to differentiation, how do you differentiate your house, is a home warranty. I really think that home warranties are important. And the reason I think they're important is because if you choose to offer a buyer a home warranty, your home is protected during the listing period. So if your AC goes out or your heat goes out or you have some sort of problem with the mechanical system in your house, that home warranty covers you. So even if you haven't had a home warranty in the past during home ownership, if you decide to offer a home warranty to a buyer, which in my estimation, about 75% of offers come in and ask for a home warranty, I think it's important that you go ahead and just bite the bullet and say, yep, we're going to offer a home warranty for $500, and during the listing period, if anything happens to my house, I'm covered. I think that's a really important thing to have. So let's switch gears. And again, you might have some questions. You might have some comments about the professional that you've hired. You had a great experience. You had a bad experience. Of course, don't name names, but if there's anything you want to share, you're listening, and you have a story that you think applies, feel free to call into the studio. The number here is 843-556-1250. We're happy to take your call and talk with you about anything you want to discuss with regard to real estate. So law number 3 in terms of professionalism and the person that you hire is the law of exposure. We know, and this really talks about marketing, but we know that 90% of buyers start their search online. The agent that you hire has to understand online marketing. They have to. It's a requirement, in my opinion. Gone are the days where you can put the property on the MLS, put a yard sign in the property, and then wait for other agents to show it, and have the warm and fuzzy feeling that you're actually going to get top dollar for your house. I think the agent that you choose to hire has to be well-versed in online marketing and has to create so much exposure for your house that in doing so, It creates motivation among buyers. It creates a sense of urgency. That's what we're trying to do with marketing is not just create the exposure, but create a call to action so that when buyers see your house, they say, man, I got to get in there. That's the one I'm looking for. We do that through online marketing. Included in that is professional photography. I talk about that all the time on my program. My homes have professional photography 100% of the time. It's incredibly important. It's an expense that I am more than happy to incur because it makes my properties look good. I have two very simple sayings when it comes to marketing. I want my properties to be the prettiest girl at the dance, and wherever buyers are looking is where I want to be. If you think about the process of selling your home, when people see your house online, you need to count that as the first showing. Buyers are going to make a decision at that point in time when they see your house online as to whether or not they're interested in the house, whether or not it fits their general needs, and it's a value that they can agree with. If those three things match, then they're going to create a showing on your house. So the agent that you choose to hire has to understand the process of turning that online shopper into a legitimate prospect for your house. We do that through exposure. And again, we don't just put it online. We understand that the way in which it's presented is incredibly important. Writing a description that makes sense to buyers, that answers their questions, so that when they schedule a showing, they're there because all of their boxes have already been checked. They already agree with the value. They already think the floor plan is going to work. They already like the area because we've presented the property in such a way that we've answered those questions. The last thing that I would want is to have 30 showings on a house and over half of them shouldn't have been showings in the first place because the buyer was ultimately not interested in one of those basic sets of criteria. So that's the law of exposure. And then the last thing is that your agent needs to understand how to track those leads, follow up with those leads, and respond in a way that allows them to talk intelligently about the house, about the market, answer their questions, and again, convert them from an online shopper into a legitimate showing and possible offer for your house. So I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to continue this discussion about hiring a professional and whether or not it actually has an impact on our ability to sell your house for more money in less time and with less stress. All that and more as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Have a real estate question? Ask Brian Beatty. Send him an email, lowcountryhomesales@gmail.com. That's lowcountryhomesales@gmail.com.
1250 WTMA.
Expert news and views on the Low Country real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. This is the part of the program where I always just like to say thank you for those that tune into this program and for those of you that call me and hire me for your real estate needs. Would love the opportunity to help you if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate in the Charleston area. I can be reached on my cell phone at 843-345-1273, 345-1273. If you have any real estate questions, comments, needs that I can help you with, always happy to help. Again, that number 345-1273, or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and submit your information there. You can learn more about what I do to sell my homes, which is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about hiring a professional and the difference between hiring a professional and agents that might not take all of these factors into consideration when representing their clients to help them get top dollar for their house. So we're going through the 7 laws of professionalism that I've come up with for this program to determine whether or not the agent that you hire actually has an impact on your ability to sell your home for more money in less time and with less stress. I firmly believe that particular agents are better at selling real estate through the use of their systems, their knowledge, their expertise than other real estate agents out there. I'm not here to say that new agents or inexperienced agents can't sell your home. They certainly can, and they have the same education that we do. They can do a great job for you. What I'm trying to say is that professionals that have really focused on their business and on customer service and on becoming an expert in their craft, in my opinion, do have the ability to sell your home for more money. So we're talking about the areas that I think is important to focus on to accomplish that. If you have questions, feel free to call into the studio, 843-556-1250 on anything that we've talked about thus far. Short sales, professionalism. We're going to talk in a little bit about market updates. So again, feel free to call into the studio, 843-556-1250. Let me get back to this list here and try and get through this information quickly. Law number 4, the first 3 laws were expertise in pricing your house, the law of differentiation. How are agents different? How is your home different? What do we need to do to position your home so that it appears different and more attractive to buyers? And exposure. So law number 4 is cooperation. Is the agent that you hire an agent that other agents want to work with? I think it's incredibly important to understand that 70 to 75% of all transactions nationally are co-op transactions. In other words, I represent the seller and another real estate agent represents the buyer. 70 to 75% of the time, I'm going to be working with another agent and cooperating with them to achieve the sale. So it's important that I have a marketing plan that caters to those types of agents. And it's important that I have the reputation that states, hey, he is a good agent. He represents his clients well, but he's an agent that I enjoy working with. He's a no drama type of guy. And I firmly believe that that's what I am. I'm just a kind of brass tacks, here's what my client wants type of person. I am not the drama guy. So I don't work very well with the drama clients, quite honestly. I work well with people that are open to discussions about expectations, about market trends, about what I think is going to happen, and then I deliver on those promises. But the law of cooperation very simply states that you hire an agent that understands working with the agent on the other side of the table. Because at the end of the day, if 70 to 75% of transactions are done with another agent, then we need to make sure that they're taken care of in terms of being compensated fairly, and that you're a no drama type of agent that they enjoy working with. That all of that adds to the stress of the transaction. So that's the law of cooperation, just making sure that the agent that you hire is somebody that other agents enjoy working with. They've got a good reputation in the industry. Law number 5 is the law of buyer acquisition. And this is something that I have focused on very heavily in my business. It's incredibly important for me to be able to respond quickly to leads. I'm in 2 industries. Well, I'm in 2 businesses. I'm in the same industry, obviously, but one portion of my business is servicing my clients, taking care of my clients, helping them buy, sell, and invest in real estate. The other portion of my business is finding people to help. I'm in a contact sport. I have to create contacts in order to help them buy, sell, or invest in something. And surveys will tell you that if you don't respond to leads within 15 minutes, then your ability to convert that lead into a prospect diminishes greatly. They say by as much as 21 times less likely to convert that buyer or seller into a client if you respond to them outside of that 15-minute window. So how do you do that? Well, you create systems that allow you to respond quickly. I have text message responses. I have automated email responses. I actually answer my phone. How about that? I'm a real estate agent that answers the phone when you call me. And if I don't, it's because I'm on the phone with somebody else and I'll call you right back. But there are plenty of agents that are out there. Hey, well, I stopped working at 5 and I'll call you back sometime tomorrow, maybe. I mean, if I'm not busy, I might get to you the next day. But no, you have to answer your phone. You have to be responsive. Buyers want immediate responses, because if I'm out there and I'm marketing my properties for sale, yet I don't have the ability to respond to an inquiry quickly, then I have just lost an opportunity to turn that person into a client. But more importantly, I have failed at my job of converting that buyer for the sake of my client. It's my job to market the property and then respond to the leads that we get from buyers. If a buyer doesn't get a response in a short amount of time, they're just going to go to another agent. And when another agent talks to that buyer about a different listing, then our ability to convert that person on your specific house diminishes greatly. So we have to have lead follow-up systems and buyer loyalty programs and a professionally trained staff to make sure that no matter what, when somebody actually responds to the marketing that we have, that we are converting that potential online shopper into an appointment to ultimately sell your house. So that's law number 5. Law number 6 is just the law of negotiation. This is very simple. The professional that you hire has to be an expert in negotiations. And for me, that's the most fun part of the job is actually getting the job done for my client, accomplishing their goals based on a reasonable set of expectations, and having them feel like they won. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a competitive person. I like to win. I like it when buyers make offers on my listings and I get them to raise their price more than what they feel comfortable with and get my clients more money. That's the most fun part of my job, quite honestly, is showing my value, demonstrating my value by saying, here's what the seller wants. Here's why we want what we want. Here's the market data to support it. This is what we feel is fair for the property, and actually getting the job done. And writing contracts in such a way that the contract will actually close, which takes me to law number 7, which is the law of execution. Delivering on your promises. Having things like a market research team and a pre-listing team and a marketing team and a closing team to make sure that when we take on a client, that every facet of the transaction from start to finish is handled by a professional. And let's be honest, if you go, there's not one reputable company, in my opinion, where one person does it all. You go to a doctor's office, the doctor isn't going to check you in, and then you're going to go and see the doctor, and then the doctor's going to check you out, and then the doctor's going to file the insurance and do everything with regard to that transaction. They hire people, train them well to make sure that the process is smooth from start to finish so that their time is spent on the areas of expertise that they have. I don't need to be an expert in shuffling paperwork to make sure that my files are organized. I can train somebody to make sure that the back office is well taken care of. My time needs to be spent in negotiating on my client's behalf, communicating with my clients, telling them what's going on, exposing my properties to the market, talking to buyers, going to closings, and making sure that my staff is trained. And that's the way that it works with any reputable, experienced, professional company. And I think it's incredibly important that you take all 7 of these things into consideration when you think about hiring a real estate agent. And so I said in the very beginning of this, does the agent that you choose to hire have the ability to sell your home for more money in less time and with less stress? I think the answer, absolutely 100%, is yes. And I rarely use this program to beat my chest as to how much real estate I sell. That's not the point of this program. The point of the program is to educate you and to keep you informed with real estate. But I'll tell you that, I've already done 85 transactions this year for $27 million in volume. That's a lot of business for the first half of the year. And the reason that we're able to do that is because we have our systems in place. We're experts in our field. And when we take on clients, we take them on with the idea that we are going to deliver on our promises and get the job done. It's about results. So when we come back, I'm going to do what I do at the end of every month, and I'm going to give you a really good market update, tell you what's going on with price, sales, listings, all that fun stuff. Not too late to call in, 843-556-1250 to the studio, or go online and visit me on my website, listingsincharleston.com. We'll take one more break. We'll be right back. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on The Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. WTMA. Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on The Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on The Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. We're in the final few minutes of the program, and at the end of every month, I like to give an update on what's going on in our market. I like to talk about what's going on with regard to prices and closings and inventory in your area. So this is your opportunity to tune in and listen to what's going on in your neck of the woods. If you have specific questions about the value of your house, or you're thinking about buying or investing in real estate, please give me a call personally. My number is 843-345-1273, or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and submit your information, and I'm more than happy to send you an appraisal on your house, no cost, no obligation, just to let you know what's going on in your neck of the woods. So let me rifle off this information. Stay tuned, because I'm going to talk about your area. Let's start first with Berkeley County. Berkeley County, this is year-to-date figures versus the same amount of time in 2014. So in Berkeley County, inventory is down 9%. Closings are up 28%, and the median sales price is up 7%. So let's break down Berkeley County a little bit more. On Daniel Island, inventory is down 15% for single-family homes, and it's down 26% for condos and townhouses. Closings for single-family homes are up 15%. Closings for condos and townhomes are up 26%, and the median sales price is up 7% for single-family homes, but it's actually down 3% for condos and townhouses. In Hanahan, inventory for single-family homes is down 25%. It's down almost 50% for condos and townhomes in Hanahan. Closings are up 70% for single-family homes, and they're up 83% for condos and townhomes. And the median sales price for single-family homes is up 10% in Hanahan, and it's up, get this, 40%. That's because we've only had 11 closings so far for the condo and townhouse market. So don't read too much into that. But overall, Hanahan moving, shaking, doing really well. Goose Creek and Moncks Corner, inventory is up 6% for single-family homes and down 27% for condos and townhomes. Closings are up 25% for single-family homes, and they're up 33% for condos and townhomes. And the median sales price is up 7% for single-family homes, and it's up 12% for condos and townhouses. Moving to Charleston County, inventory is down 21% for single-family homes, and it's down the same amount, 21% for condos and townhouses. Closings are up 19% for single-family homes. They're actually down a little bit for condos and townhouses, but the median sales price is up 6.3% for single-family homes, and it's up 5% for condos and townhouses. In downtown Charleston, inventory is down 29%. Closings are up almost 10%, and the median sales price in downtown Charleston, the historic side, is up 16% for single-family homes. That's an incredible number, and we're certainly seeing that right now in almost all areas of downtown Charleston. If you look at the Upper Peninsula in downtown Charleston, the median sales price is up 6% for single-family homes, and inventory has been greatly reduced. Inventory is down over 50%, close to 60% above the crosstown. On James Island, inventory is down 39% for single-family homes, and it's down 29% for condos and townhomes. Closings are up 25% for single-family homes. They're down 27% for condos and townhouses, but the median sales price is up 13% on James Island. On Johns Island, closings are up 75% for single-family homes. They're only up 5% for condos and townhomes. But inventory is down 12% for both single-family homes and condos and townhouses. Median sales price is up 9% for condos and townhomes on Johns Island. In West Ashley, inventory is down about 26% in both areas, single-family and condo townhome. Closings are up 16 and 23% for single-family homes and condos and townhomes. Median sales price is up 5% for single-family homes and 11% for condos and townhomes. Going over to North Charleston, inventory is down almost 40% in both areas. Closings are up 43% for single-family homes, and prices are up 6.5% for single-family homes. They're up 12% for condos and townhouses. In Mount Pleasant, we have about an 8% reduction in inventory for single-family homes and a 30% reduction in condos and townhomes. For closings, we're up 5% for single-family homes. We're up 18% for condos and townhomes. And the median sales price is up 11% for single-family homes. It really hasn't changed that much for condos and townhouses. In Folly Beach, inventory is down 27%. Closings are up 45% for single-family homes, and the median sales price is up 6%. Isle of Palms, inventory is down 25%. Closings are up 36%, and the median sales price is up 6%. Sullivan's Island, inventory is down 7%. Closings are actually down. We've had 18 closings. Last year, this time we had 20, but the median sales price is up 7%. Now let's go to Dorchester County. Closings are up 22%. Inventory is down 13%, and the median sales price is up 5%. If you're in Somerville, inventory is down 8%. Closings are up 25%, and median sales price is up 5%. And the Dorchester Road corridor, inventory is down 22%. Closings are up 15%, and prices are up 6%. So, really good market. If you're considering selling your house, you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. My number is 843-345-1273. or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend, and thanks for listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning from 8 till 9. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. 843-345-1273.